सीरीज ए से पहले हमारे पास 2 महीने का पैसा था। 2 महीने के पैसे भी ऐसे थे कि इन्वेस्टर से पूछा कि यार दे दो हो जाएगा। तो यूएस में देखा कुछ चल रहा है, टेक्क्रंच में पड़ा, लैप्रॉन इज वर्किंग वेरी वेल, इंडिया में भी करेंगे।
I remember.
I tried to raise money from you, ignored my mail.
I am already doing enough damage to myself on Twitter, so I'm not going beyond Twitter, right? Don't waste time on coding. Even if you are a good coder, you save that energy and do an MVP on WhatsApp.
So I would say that resume or where you have worked doesn't matter to us a lot now. Like what matters is you belong to these towns and you understand these people.
मेरे को मैं ऐसी लड़की को ढूंढ रहा हूँ, जनरली दैट यू सी इन न्यूज़पेपर्स, राइट? एंड ये कास्ट से ढूंढ रहा हूँ, मैं इतना कमाता हूँ, मेरे को ये रिक्वायरमेंट है। तो ये लिखते हैं लोग। श्योरिटी नहीं थी कि कुछ होगा, और टू एन एक्सटेंट हम ऐसा होता था कि मैं और विपुल शाम को रोड्स पे ऐसे चले आते थे कि पता नहीं क्या होगा, देखते हैं।
Awesome, guys. Welcome to High IQ Podcast. I think second time you guys are coming to podcast.
First time.
We did audio recording, no?
No.
We didn't? Okay. Awesome. Sorry, we didn't.
That's okay.
But pleasure to have you. Okay, before we start, right? I mean, Jani, tell us about yourself, and then Vipul.
Sure.
So my name is Jani. I come from a small town called Kodad in Telangana. Lived until 17 years of my life there. Yeah. So then I, studied in Vijayawada. It's also a relatively larger town, but not a very big city. I went to IIT Kharagpur. Studied there for 4 years. I learned a lot there. Then I came to Bangalore after my graduation. So I was into metallurgical and metals engineering. That's my core. I got a pre-placement offer in Tata Steel. I went there, worked for 7 months, figured out it's slightly slow. So then I came to Bangalore thinking that कि चलो कुछ और करते हैं, थोड़ा fast pace करते हैं. Came to Bangalore, started up a startup called halfteaspoon.com, which essentially is an ingredient delivery startup which gives ingredients in specific proportion with instructions to cook. Very naive after college, right? यूएस में देखा कुछ चल रहा है, टेक्क्रंच में पड़ा, लैप्रॉन इज वर्किंग वेरी वेल, इंडिया में भी करेंगे। क्लाउड किचन नहीं, आपको कुछ बनाना है तो हम एग्जैक्ट पोर्शंस में लाके देंगे और रेसिपी के साथ आप बना लो।
So ready to cook. I remember.
Yeah. I tried to raise money from you, ignored my mail at that time. Then I ran it for 10 months, figured out, ran it for 10 months, figured out that, there is not inherent demand for that product. Then I went to join Gozumo. It's an online used car marketplace.
Yeah.
I joined it as an early core team member, 15-20 member team.
Interestingly, even those guys decided that doesn't work.
Maybe my influence.
You were the influencer.
I headed that product, worked there for 1.5 years. Vipul was actually,
Basically, it was founded, Zumo was founded by my 2-year senior and his 2-year senior together.
Got it.
They were like, he was my wingmate.
And you also joined Gozumo.
No.
He
was trying to build something.
I pitched them a product of mine, basically. I was building it on the side while I was working in Qualcomm. So I'll start.
Sure, yeah.
So I met Vipul in that way where he was trying to sell something to Gozumo. We said, chal dekhte hain. And over time, we really liked each other. And then we started up one product. This was in 2016-17. And we saw, 2 places. Now we thought, the way to build a product is that first we'll find, हम ऐसा कुछ प्रोडक्ट बनाएंगे वो सबको पसंद आएगा. और the way we started is that post 2016 when Trump won election in US, we thought सब जगह पे यही सुनने में आता है कि echo chamber है, fake news है. हम सोचे we will solve that problem. And we built, both of us, left our jobs. We thought this is going to be huge. Everyone will consume this content. We built a product in isolation. For 7 months, coded ourselves, built it, shared with friends. No one started using it. So then we realized that, if you don't ask or if you don't build according to what people need, it will go to waste.
So yeah, hi, my name is Vipul. I belong to Bhilwara, Rajasthan actually. I studied in different schools all over India. Then I went to IIT Bombay. So I went to IIT Bombay Electrical Engineering. I was a 5-year course there. And I was very interested in electronics at the time, so I joined Qualcomm right after my engineering, and and that is currently, I mean, one of the greatest places to be if you're an electrical engineer. I worked there for about 3.5 years. By the end of my term there, about at 3 years, I wanted to build something of my own, and that's when I built a car health tracking device, an OBD device along with an analytics layer, and tried to push it to my senior in GoZoom. That's when he put me in touch with Jani. That talk to him. He's leading the sell side product. I mean, at that time. So you talk to him, and that's how we met. That product didn't work out, but I mean, we both started working on new ideas because we found a lot of synergy. We both wanted to do something which is big, mass market, do it for India especially. At that time is when people take decisions after 3 years whether to go for masters in the US or go get a job in the US. That's when we met Jani, decided that we'll stay here. So yeah, first product was, as Jani said, I mean, a lot of technology was built in, but not a lot of usage. So at that point, it was a low point, by the way. After working 1.5 years, left our jobs, working on idea, and then nothing, like we were at zero. So at that, we did a lot of user studies. We talked to about 400 to 500 people at that point in time. That was our primary research that we did.
And then
around news.
Okay.
And that's where we found out that there is a difference between how news is consumed or content is consumed in people who live in smaller towns and villages versus people who are immigrants like us who live in cities, right?
Yeah.
They are very connected to and want to know and understand what is going on around them.
Right. Let's define local. Right? I mean, local serves the purpose of hyperlocal news and essential services to people in small districts and small towns.
Correct.
But it's a social media company, right?
Right.
So can you elaborate on that? We are not set up as a news company.
Local is, if you want to understand from the VC perspective, it's a content, community and classified platform. We have people, creators at a location level who create content on the application around things happening around them, updates. And we do also have people in that community posting classifieds on our platform. So this, from a VC perspective, it's a social media platform because people are posting, people are doing, it's a UGC platform. But from the user perspective, what happens is that they used to get all these interactions and content on local newspaper. For them, it solves the purpose of local newspaper.
Got it.
Yes.
Here in Bangalore, we hear about a politician or we hear about some commissioner or somebody. We rarely, even extremely rare to find somebody who knows all of these officials, right?
Definitely.
But in a small town, they'll know everybody. Right?
Correct.
So the newspaper becomes the center of the community.
Exactly.
So it's very interesting that we are saying actually make it a community-driven thing only.
Yes. Exactly.
Very interesting. And hence we have taken the concept of a newspaper.
Correct.
But we are delivering it as a social media.
Yes.
So basically what we realized is when you hyper-localize a community platform, right, what they talk about is their news. That is essentially what news is. News is what is happening currently, what event is happening currently, what is going on, what has officials told you anything about. So I mean,
so basically like
naturally
like Twitter,
news. Yeah.
Where I consume news,
Correct.
But it's a social media platform.
Correct.
Yeah, we would call it updates. Updates is what you get, what's happening around you.
Yeah.
Essentially updates like, rain has come, or updates like which scheme is coming at what time.
Which means it's much deeper than news. It's just not the headline news. It's also a lot of things around you.
You can classify it as content relevant to that community and popular content of that community.
Who are these people, right? I mean, when I imagine people in a small town, I imagine an idyllic life. Yeah, relaxed life hoga. For them, catching up and updates would be to going to the Chopal, right? Or local tapri. And then you get all the updates, right? Whatever you need to spend half an hour, 1 hour there. And for entertainment, you use TikTok or ShareChat or something like that. Right. Or YouTube. And that's what you imagine. We don't imagine these people as very highly wired people कि उनको news चाहिए, update चाहिए, एकदम fully up to date है, connected है. कौन लोग हैं? So और ये इन लोगों का need क्या है?
So one, in terms of internet adoption, they are very, very new. Secondly, the way in which these communities are there, right? Like my father lives in my hometown for 35 years now. He's extremely connected. So think of this, right? When I was in my college for 4 years, I was super curious about what's happening in the college, town, right? In the college, what is happening? That means डीन ने क्या बोला, रोड बन रहा है नहीं बन रहा है, साइकिल अलाउड है या नहीं है, बस कब आएगी, बिकॉज आई स्टेड देयर, इट्स पार्ट ऑफ मी, राइट? and I've left the college and my context changed. But think of this for that entire town, right? So they're staying there for generations. उनका घर वहीं पे है, वहाँ पे लोग क्या बोलते हैं मैटर करता है उसको, respect सब कुछ है. तो इस context में local and content on local plays a very high importance in their life.
Okay.
So that is how, and that content is what we are delivering digitally for them. To an extent, this used to happen on newspapers, but because of the limited space or delay, it had some problems, and we are solving that more efficiently.
Got it. So 2017-18 is when you think of this idea.
Yeah.
Correct.
And do a lot of research
Yeah.
users. What all has already happened then? ShareChat is already a reasonably decent, well-known name.
It started, yeah.
Roposo was there. InShots was there.
Correct.
Right? Any other inspirations or anything else you used for reference?
Daily Hunt was also
Daily
there.
Hunt was there.
Clip
right?
was there at that
Clip
point
was
of
there.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went, and we fortunately had access to the founders of this startup. Tried to understand from their perspective.
You met all of these guys?
We met Fareed, we met Clip now.
Now, right.
Yeah, to an extent, we had some friends working in Daily Hunt as well.
Okay.
So we went and spoke to them, understand what they're building for their users, how the hypothesis that we have, do they see in any extent in their studies or anywhere else.
Okay.
So because there is a validation phase, right? We already kind of got hit by building something in isolation. So we kind of
Apart
put
from
that use.
talking to users, you are saying, does Daily Hunt carry this kind of news? Does ShareChat carry this kind of content?
No, I think the initial thing happened in this way. We built a product, Soup. It's a news platform that gives news aggregated news, gives news in the form of a timeline for you to stay updated. We built it, given to people, didn't use it. So then we started interviewing. When we started interviewing, we interviewed our friends who are in these cities, and we also interviewed people from friends and families in the towns also, because easy accessible. What we understood is that from the data that we were able to collect is that the content preferences for a tier 1, tier 2, there are differences, especially when it comes to tier 2 towns. A prominent source of content consumption in 2018 was happening is via newspaper. So we tried to understand what purpose that this newspaper solve for you. And they told us that what is happening. So I have like 20 news channels, right? And I have WhatsApp and Facebook much evolved. I get a lot of information from there. But what is happening around me, I'm only able to find it in a way where I can consume it is on newspaper. So this was the insight where we found out this is important. Then we tried to validate this by talking to users from multiple places. We spoke this in Telangana, we spoke about this in West Bengal, we spoke about this in UP. Rocket Post Live as one person doing this. We spoke about this in Pune, and then we were able to identify that this is a need that is there.
And you are better off serving those people than your peers and friends in cities.
Yes, because there is an inherent need identified. Then what we did was that because of the validation, we went to Clip and said, local news आता है क्या, कहाँ से आता है, क्या होता है, उसकी value क्या है, similar to Daily Hunt आता है क्या, क्या है, value क्या है. Then we took the plunge, and when we started a WhatsApp group, because again हमें product और नहीं बनानी थी, तो हम
It's a fabulous way, right? I mean, I always recommend everybody कि boss, do your PMF and your MVP on WhatsApp only. कोई जरूरत ही नहीं उसके आगे MVP करने की. Don't waste time on coding. Even if you are a good coder, you save that energy and do an MVP on WhatsApp.
Yeah. So what happened is that we identified that we'll pick a location. We picked a location. We went there.
That location was his hometown.
That was hometown. So basically, because we found this pattern everywhere, and we thought it will be easier to connect with people. And then one layer is that this news and information updates around them is important for them. Then we started investigating who is giving this content. Then we figured out there is this lot of people built across the country by traditional news platforms called stringers. Most of them used to give this content to these newspapers or publications for free.
For free?
Why? Because their name gets associated. They are more credible in that location. They get invited to events. They have their name associated. Respect. कुछ भी होता है उनको पता चलता है.
Gives them social standing.
Yes. तो हमें realize हुआ कि ये लोग बहुत थे. Like 100,000 people के मेरे town में there is a media association. उसमें 180 लोग हैं. उसमें और लोग register होना चाह रहे थे.
Wow.
तो then हमें पता चला यार इतने लोग हैं. तो then we tried to talk to them. and we saw this network existing across the country. So we started a WhatsApp group. We hired one guy which said कि आप दे दो हमें, हम WhatsApp में डालेंगे. तो WhatsApp में हम बोलते थे कि एक तो WhatsApp में डालेंगे तो कल से जल्दी आएगा. एक तो वो वैल्यू थी, आज ही आया. सेकेंड हमने ये किया है कि हम वीडियो बनाते थे थोड़ा बहुत, समरी बना के थोड़ा डिफ्रेंशिएशन बनाने. एक ग्रुप बनाया, उनको बोला 10 लोगों को ऐड करो आप. मैं भी 10 लोगों को मिला के ऐड किया एंड हमने न्यूज़ डालते थे और नीचे डालते थे अगर ये अच्छा लगा आपको, आपके दोस्तों को इनवाइट करना, दिस इज अबाउट योर टाउन. दैट ग्रुप ग्रू टू लाइक 6-7 ग्रुप्स ओवर 2 weeks टाइम. देन वी रियलाइज कि ये तो चल रहा है. ठीक है, चलो हमने नीड वैलिडेट किया, बहुत सारा रिसर्च कर लिया है, चलो हम इसका कुछ अब प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं. कैपिटल रेज वाज वन थिंग दैट वी ट्राई टू डू बिफोर बिल्डिंग द प्रोडक्ट एंड देन
I remember how we instantaneously liked the product.
Yeah.
So Lokal now plans hundreds of communities. There's some 700 odd districts in the country.
Exactly.
So we'll have hundreds of communities, one probably in each district in India. How big is Lokal right now?
So Lokal is present in 8 states, 7 languages.
8 states, 7
225 districts
225
out of
districts.
780 districts in
Out of
India.
780.
Correct.
Almost 1,000 towns.
1,000 towns. Okay.
Yeah. So that is from the perspective of our reach and where we are live.
For attention, you are giving good strong competition to the local newspapers or any other equivalents.
So we are in fact 5-6 times bigger than the in the locations where more than 6 months old. We are 5-6 times bigger than the largest circulating
5-6 times bigger.
Yes.
Wow.
Than the largest selling newspaper in that location.
So when you say 5-6 times bigger, these are small newspapers because they are in a small district. Will not be like Times of India, or it will not be like that, right?
No, there are also
it's not
big
be like a railway
newspapers. They have big newspapers, right? We are not talking about small newspapers. Like there are players like Inadu, which is like the big in that location.
And you are bigger than Inadu
in that location. Yes.
I just want to bring in one more angle. You mentioned content, community, and classifieds.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
To come back to classifieds,
Yes.
and we'll go delve deeper into categories of classifieds. But broadly, as classifieds, there will be a little bit of classifieds in newspapers, Inadu and all.
Definitely.
But outside that, the national classifieds platforms, are they even present there in those places?
Yeah, I'll take this. So I'll take that question in a different manner. So basically, when we launched our product, I mean, people could directly post content on the platform. It's a social media, right? And what we started seeing was people recognize any platform that has reach. And they try to solve their problems via that platform. So you would see that across Facebook, WhatsApp, even if the problem is dating in India, they will try and solve that problem.
Quora became so popular for dating,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Correct. So people started automatically posting classifieds onto the platform, and we realized that the power of the platform has become so much that they will get fulfilled also. And that's where we started seeing that, okay, let's build separate products, little bit specified products for these classifieds. And then we started delving into asking those people, like, what else do you do and to get these needs fulfilled if Lokal wasn't there? And the majority answer was, I mean, we couldn't hear the names of Quicker, OLX, what we thought that we'll hear. We heard names of posters on the wall, posters on the poles.
So that's what you're replacing, posters on the wall.
Yeah.
Including the announcement of who cleared CAT and who cleared IIT.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
oh, wow.
So those you relate with it a lot, right? So the banners that were there for 1 month in the city center.
Wow. Okay.
So these were the things that we started replacing. And when we went into and understand the market, we studied the market, it turned out that offline market is much bigger than what online classifieds were doing. So we would much rather replace them. Secondly, there was no parallels to where will you get more new information from. So it always helps to be.
It wasn't a tough sell to people to believe on ROI of the effort or money they pay.
Exactly.
And so what we did was essentially in the initial steps of the product only, we gave them a easy way to upload anything on the platform. It doesn't need to be classified as update only. So then we saw people posting matrimonial profiles. मुझे शादी करनी है, ये है कास्ट है.
Does somebody write like this? मुझे शादी करनी है, ऐसा एक्चुअली लिखते हैं क्या?
So आप फॉर्मेट आप दोगे तो उस तरीके से होगा कि आप बोलो कि 2 लाइन में आप लिख सकते हो तो वो लिखेगा ही कि मेरे को मैं ऐसी लड़की को ढूंढ रहा हूँ. जनरली दैट यू सी इन न्यूज़पेपर्स, राइट? एंड ये कास्ट से ढूंढ रहा हूँ, मैं इतना कमाता हूँ, मेरे को ये रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो ये लिखते हैं लोग, आप जिस फॉर्मेट में दोगे उस फॉर्मेट में। देन हमने देखा लोग विश कर रहे हैं एक दूसरे को हैप्पी बर्थडे, बिकॉज कम्युनिटी
Happy
में
birthday wishes.
जो इट इज़ वेरी कॉमन। हमारे पास भी क्या होता है, फेसबुक में भी द मोस्ट कॉमन फीचर दैट पीपल यूज टुडे इज दैट कि योर फ्रेंड का बर्थडे फेसबुक नोटिफाइज यू, राइट?
Right.
So in social communities where people respect
If
each
you
other,
know that this is only for my city or my
Yeah.
town, then you will be very comfortable wishing happy birthday.
I
in
want to
public.
make Anand Lunia happy,
Right.
and I do it by
Yeah.
placing a banner with his name, happy birthday Anand,
Yeah, yeah.
and with my photo on the side slightly to tell you that I was the one who posted it there.
So my photo also has to be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your photo, my photo with the name. And also we have seen people, death का anniversary होता
Yeah,
है,
because
death
we
announcement.
inform the
Because in the
people, yeah.
community, this guy used to be something for a lot of people, and this is how they do it by announcing it there.
Yeah.
Shraddhanjali.
In North, they have this Besna ceremony where people are supposed to next day they're supposed to gather. So even
And that user-centric approach of collecting feedback, taking it from that app, made us think and evolved local from, content platform of local updates to classifieds, which is a natural need.
yeah, I can imagine that when I go to Quicker, hardly anybody goes to Quicker, I believe. But even social media, most of it is impersonal. But in a small community, even somebody wanting to sell their house also is news to me. I may not want to buy a house, but it's news. So I still want to read who it is, right? Who's selling the house.
We speak to a lot of users who are browsing our real estate category. They say, so communities are different,
Communities
right?
are different, yeah.
आप क्या होता है कि उस टाउन में आप अपने नेटवर्थ को इस तरीके से मेजर करते हो, आपके कितने प्लॉट हैं और कितने घर हैं. So you're always in the hunt because that is what is being respected by everyone.
Yeah.
So it is important content. Real estate content is
You want
very
to check
important.
who's selling, who's buying,
Correct.
Yeah.
who's buying the second place.
Yes.
Yeah, that is not here.
आज का
Right?
रेट क्या चल रहा है नई
Yeah.
जगह
In Bangalore, we don't care.
Yeah.
Unless you are startup founders comparing cars.
Now it comes to answering your question कि कोई और प्लेटफॉर्म जो एग्जिस्ट करता है जो सिटी में बना है उनके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा एडॉप्शन नहीं है. इट्स ऑल्सो द चिकन एंड एग प्रॉब्लम. एक तो ये प्रोडक्ट्स इनके लिए बने नहीं है, थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, नेविगेशन करना इस यूज़र के लिए फंडामेंटली काफ़ी डिफिकल्ट है. दूसरा ये जैसे मैट्रिमोनी यूज़ केस ही बताता हूँ कि एक बंदा आता है वो प्रोफाइल बनाता है बहुत एस्पिरेशनली, तो आसपास में उसके लिए रिलेवेंट प्रोफाइल्स नहीं है. इनफैक्ट जो प्रोफाइल्स जो हैदराबाद है जिनकी रिक्वायरमेंट देख के वो बोलता है यार नहीं, डर जाता है.
Most of these people want to marry within like 1 or 2 hours distance of their
Correct.
where they live,
Exactly.
right? They don't want to like go one night away or one
This
flight away.
especially in tier 2 and above, we have
I
seen it
agree.
most, especially with ladki ke parents, because they are like कि trust important है. If either you marry in my community,
I
जो
can go and check out
yes,
regularly.
सुबह जाऊंगा शाम को आऊंगा. ठीक है.
क्योंकि लड़के अगर रुकते नहीं है
हाँ, रुकते नहीं है लेकिन जाके चेकआउट जरूर करेंगे.
तो सुबह जाके शाम को आने ऐसी जगह चाहिए.
So similarly,
And you can do diligence also much better, right? If it's close
हाँ,
by.
रिश्तेदार वहाँ जो
You
रहते
will
हैं
have
उनसे पता
a network, yeah.
so local important है because आप रियल एस्टेट भी खरीदना चाहते हो तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप बहुत दूर जाके खरीदो, आसपास में खरीदना चाहते हो.
Correct.
नौकरियां चाहिए तो आसपास में चाहिए बिकॉज वो है. शादी करना है तो ये रेडियस वाला है, वो मतलब 100 किलोमीटर टू 200 किलोमीटर रेडियस. अब ये चीज़ें हम अच्छे से सॉल्व कर रहे हैं. द सेम एग्जिस्टिंग मेंटल मॉडल, पेपर सबके घर जाता है, सब वहाँ पे डालते हैं. लोकल बहुत लोग कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं आसपास में, तो हम भी यहाँ पे डालेंगे. उस चक्कर में क्या होता है कि हमारे पास द हाईएस्ट डेंसिटी ऑफ कंटेंट आती है स्पेसिफिक टू क्लासिफाइड्स. इसका चेक
So the amount of classifieds you will have will be way higher than
very high,
any other
very high, any
in
other
that
platform.
region,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Wow.
You compare with any platform. Yes.
Got it. And that itself can become a virtuous cycle network effect
Yes,
for you.
because
yes.
आप मतलब बहुत सिंपल है ना कि आप किसी को नौकरी करना है किसी को, या नौकरी मुझे देना है किसी को, आई वांट टू हायर समवन. मैं पहले न्यूज़पेपर में डालता था, आई यूज्ड टू गेट ए पर्सन टू हायर इन 7 days टाइम. ऑन लोकल ही विल गेट 100 calls in a day. इट्स मच मोर एफिशिएंट, मच मोर क्विक,
Yes.
एंड ही टेल्स टू 10 people, अरे यार देखो लोकल पे ऐसा हो रहा है, बिकॉज द एक्सपीरियंस इज मोर देन 10x डिफरेंस, राइट? दिस इज बिकॉज ऑफ द नेटवर्क कि अब लोग क्यों आ रहे हैं यहाँ पे, सबसे ज़्यादा जॉब्स मुझे यहाँ पे मिल जाते हैं. सिमिलरली मैट्रिमोनी में भी वैसा ही है.
You must be used to seeing a lot of interesting postings, right? I mean, there used to be like a lot of memes around things people post on Craigslist in US, right?
Correct.
You're seeing similar stuff here. What are some of the interesting postings on local?
I mean, so some are definitely just jokes.
Okay.
So
People pay you to post jokes, is it?
I mean, they
Personal
do.
pranks.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. So I jokes apart, I think what I mean, I never expected, and I started seeing happening on the platform. People started selling, basically, smartphones started selling a lot. I didn't think that that would be a thing.
Oh.
I always thought that
These are not
furniture,
advertisement or something, these are sales for smartphones.
smartphone.
Okay.
So, I mean, people want to recycle smartphone every 1 year. I want the latest model. And they constantly keep using our platform to sell smartphones, and that is
Sell their old smartphone.
old smartphones.
Okay. Very interesting.
And yeah,
Bikes.
Bikes.
Bikes is an
Bike,
interesting
yeah.
category.
bikes. So bikes, smartphones, and then definitely cattle was. I mean, I didn't think that cattle would start selling, and then we saw few cattle startups also begin after that.
But yeah, I think some interesting user conversations are is someone trying to get married for the third time. And he is posting on the platform, and he wants to broadcast it to a lot of people. We also saw, because we do have strong network effect in location, so there is a job. One advertiser figured out the hack that, you know, if my job is very relevant, it will show more. And he thought the way to make this more relevant is that I'll increase the salary. So he is giving 15,000 rupees. He said the salary is 40,000 on that.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people applied, relevance went up, a lot of people more applied. So over time we saw इतने लोग apply क्यों कर रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है?
Because
Then he changed. Then we kind of eventually had to moderate this much better.
yeah, because for everybody else this is like fake news, right? You know, who are the users again? You can categorize, right? Like, are these like businessmen, job seekers, students, housewives? Like, who are these people?
It's like social media platform mein you don't have a persona per se as such. Everyone is an audience, and we build that.
And you keep building categories and content items.
But if you want to kind of understand the demography per se, like Facebook is for someone, Snapchat is for someone, the prominent profile for us is 20 to 44 years. Most of them fall in that domain. We do have slightly older folks also, but prominent demography is this, and 80% men, 20% women.
And another thing is, I mean, we had some fears that, I mean, whether there will be enough paying power, what will be the salary of the people. And we've realized with classified launches, with people buying and selling, I mean, they are pretty affluent, and average salary of job posting is 20,000, 25,000 plus.
Okay.
So, sorry, that's the minimum, by the way, not
That's
average.
the minimum.
That's the minimum.
Salary. Okay.
And it goes up to, we thought it, like, people try to think of like it's a blue collar job network or not, but no, I mean,
सब टाइप के जॉब्स आते हैं वैसे आनंद, हमारे पास वैसे 10,000 के ऊपर जॉब्स होते हैं. बट आप थिंक ऑफ इन दिस वे, ये क्वेश्चन सबको होता है कि ऑडियंस के पास मोनेटाइजेबल है या नहीं, बट हम वो जगह से आते हैं, हमें पता है people have
20,000 would mean a decent life and lot of
not only that, na, there are people who are very affluent, who has maybe, you know, the BMWs of that place. So it's a distribution. You can't bucketize a town or a district as ki all are like that.
I feel that, you know, somebody in a town like yours with 25,000 will have more disposable income than somebody earning 75,000 in Bangalore.
correct.
Yeah,
Sure, because here everything is spoken for, like rent is spoken for, commuting is spoken for, you know, certain things are spoken for. You don't really have too much of room for like, you know, discretionary things. In smaller towns, you live in your ancestral house or parental house, so bulk of it is disposable income. Whatever you earn, you can spend. Who will be interested in this audience? There is reasonable good affluence. So are you seeing national brands chasing this audience, or is it more of the regional brands and local businesses who want this audience?
So today, when it comes to advertising, we do have national brands, state brands, and local business advertising, where the symmetry is in that way. A prominently higher chunk of local businesses, state level businesses are advertising, but we do see good value for national brands advertising on our platform.
Understand.
And as your ad network or the ads product become improved, where you can personalize it, you can, you know, give the right audience, because it's a horizontal platform for all type of advertisers on the platform.
No, I think what is more interesting is that you've solved for the local businesses to reach out, right? That is more important. Of course, you know, for national brands, there is YouTube and there is share chat and there is
a lot of competition.
There's
A lot of people
Much
trying
more.
to sell to deliver value. With local, they understand the value inherently because the behavior is natural, right? कि I used to do this on newspaper. I used to do this for my local audience. मेरे को धंधा grow करना है तो मुझे advertise करना होगा. मेरे को बताना होगा बाकी लोगों को मेरे business के बारे में, नए products के बारे में. दशहरा में मैं scheme चला रहा हूँ तो मैं बताना होगा कि तंबोला कर रहा हूँ मैं. अब मैं कहाँ बोलूँगा? When I look at local, it is very simple, right? कि you know, sir, in your district, there are 2 lakh people using this platform. They can easily compare with any other thing, and it for them to try, it becomes easier.
Yeah. So, to compare yourself with, let's say, habit of newspaper readers, right? Like for me, I usually take the newspaper to the toilet. Many of us do that, right? Is that something that you're seeing happening with local also? Or how do people consume? Is it like, morning dose? Or is it like you use it whenever you need something? What do you see the usage as?
So basically, I mean, I can see the usage of the platform like very even throughout the day. In morning, it starts at 4:35 a.m. kind of.
Okay.
So it's that first dose of you just wake up from the bed, you open your phone, you open local.
Wow, okay.
And so that's where it starts from with users. And I mean, what you can see, what we have seen is during the afternoon, this is the idle time people are sitting in their offices or jobs where
That's when they open it
it's an
again.
idle time. That's so generally, and then there is an in the evening while they come back home commute. So we have around 3 sessions per user per day. That's the average that we see on the platform. And with other classifieds like real estate, jobs, matrimony, they are a little less frequent, but everybody does consume content of their locality at 2-3 sessions a day.
So you were seeing some network effects because your network effects is by and large local, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in that community,
Yes,
correct.
You build a network effect. We touched upon it. Tell me, what is happening? I mean, some of your metrics are off the charts, right? I mean, much better compared to, let's say, your peers in social media, right? What is working, and are you really seeing continued network effects? Any instance you can give me where you're saying, okay, this is like this community has grown crazy, and high retention, high engagement.
People, what we have seen is that the time it takes for a use case to be fulfilled decreased over time at a location as the supply increases.
I'm saying that the thing is successful. Okay.
If let's say if there is a jobs use case, I want to hire a person in 2 days. Local will be able to do this once you have that network effect. And by factor of this, what happens is that in some locations to test the ceiling, we started increasing our prices, and we have not seen a lot of churn.
Oh, okay.
And similarly for matrimonials, it is easier for you to quickly connect because you have to have only relevant profiles to connect, right? Connect from both sides. So that is what we are seeing. Real estate also, we look at the first action, like how frequently you have come on the platform as a first time user, where you're able to find something, how frequently, and over.
That's become much faster.
Faster, more quick. So these are the metrics that we track. In terms of retention, yes, we do see a long-term retention because some of our users don't uninstall our app.
So you're saying that people may not give you a high DAO by MAU because this is not like daily newspaper. They may not have a habit of reading newspapers, but they know this is valuable.
Yeah.
And hence they will hold on to the app.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not uninstall. That's what you're saying. And when they have a need to sell, buy, or a transaction, then they'll open and use it.
Yes.
So basically, for the news use case, we have very high frequency, high retention. On the classifieds end, retention is not something we should track.
Got it.
We should track how quickly you are able to actually fulfill your need and go.
Yeah.
So that's
if you can share, I'll just go off script. It'll be very useful to the audience. What is your current North Star metric, and how has the North Star metric evolved from the beginning?
Crazy. So our North Star metric initially, because we already had parallels to look at where clip, share, chat,
DAO MAU.
it's what is the DAO, what is MAU, what is the D1 retention.
पहले वाला तो वही है, वो हम ही लोगों ने बताया होगा आपको. ठीक है.
Every category has one sort of a North Star. The entire company today.
For every use case.
We do have a North Star. So median response rate at a district level is what we track for a job. Similarly, matches at a location level. simultaneously you have supply density at a location level and supply connects. So this is what we kind of track at a location level in the metrics domain.
Got it.
But flavor of the market से सबके North Star metrics change होते हैं, तो obviously revenue is also a North Star metric.
By and large, you are now not saying that ShareChat or YouTube is your competition. You are not fighting for their time.
No.
You are saying we deliver a specific value.
Yes.
And you're happy just people can use you for content consumption.
Yes.
But you're happy if they want to use you only for real estate or classifieds or whatever.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's a very good, clear understanding of that. And you, just that one use case of classifieds is still helping you being retained. So it's not like people come and run away. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. What else will you add to your categories? I mean, you mentioned jobs, you mentioned matrimonial, you mentioned real estate, and some personals, right? Wishes and somebody expired, all of that. What other categories do you think you can build on this?
So what we did is we created a general buy and sell, right? Like a multi-category
used
general
car,
buy
used
and sell.
bikes, okay.
Anything that people can post. From there we pluck what is working out, what is people are using most, and we pull it and make it.
Where is the response rate for a category
And
wise?
they will take it and productize it.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's the theme, and
very interesting.
we continue it.
So tell me a little bit about the revenue model. A community newspaper, right? Which will be your most immediate peer. How much revenue will it make in your hometown, in your district?
I'll tell you Khammam, because the numbers I was able to check from the agencies. Khammam is a typical tier 3 sort of a town place. From the
they have Inadu there.
They have Inadu, 4-5 newspapers.
4-5 newspapers. Okay.
You have offline advertising happening. There are 2 news channels, local news channels, which are cable channels that happens, right? So in Khammam, from agency numbers that we've got, they do 2.5 crore per month. And in a year that translates to 30 crores a month, a year. Now this is tier 3. So if you go to Vijayawada, which has 10 to 12 crores a month in terms of advertising.
For each newspaper.
So this is total pool.
Total.
Yes.
Okay.
So in terms of scale, what we are doing.
And out of this 10-12 crores, how much will be classifieds? How much will be brand ads?
So with local, that is a very difficult step to do because it's not data is segregated. For local, it is 40% classified, 40% broadcast ads. Local. Yeah, and 20% is
network ads.
Network ads.
Okay. Yeah. How much do you charge per classified?
So it depends on category to category.
Also location to location.
We are doing location to location, but in average, generally,
what do you also do search pricing? Because the wedding season aa gaya hai
so basically automatically.
Or more for the third marriage.
We want to go there. We are trying to figure it out right now. We convert some of the high demand quick filling to broadcast anyway. So let's say आपकी need बहुत urgent है तो वो broadcast convert होता है.
Okay. That's a higher boost charge.
Jobs classified, we have 700 rupees.
700 onwards.
Yeah, onwards.
Okay.
And
very interesting.
We have.
So for you, a place like Khammam or a place like Vijayawada, what would be your revenue and how much would you aspire to build there?
So I think in Khammam we do 8 to 9 lakh rupees per month.
Wow.
Okay. And this is one of our mature.
It's almost 1 crore rupees a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's a mature location, 3-4 years old for you. So 4 years old, right?
Yeah. So we also started our monetization efforts late into our journey because initially we have a North Star metric of DAO and MAU.
Yeah, I mean, same for all of us, right?
Yeah. So
you guys are monetizing. We have yet to learn how to sell our investments. Okay, we haven't. Madhukar and I haven't monetized at all.
So top of the mind match, if we do 500 locations, if we kind of launch in out of 778, 500 locations, 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees
a month
would translate to
100 crores a month.
100 crores a month. So which is 1200.
That's what you aspire to do.
That is what we aspire to do with our existing use cases, and we take it as a minimum use case if we do really well because. With the existing use cases, because in Khammam also we are doing this 10 lakhs.
Got it. Very nice. How would you build a tech team? How is it different? Your product teams, your research teams, how are they different? What are you doing special to actually understand and make things for your audience?
Number one, it really helps if people that we hire belong to these smaller towns,
Yes.
they come from these areas, because finally we have realized that being close to the user is the utmost important thing. Since you are not the user of your own application, of your own product, of your own platform, you need to be close to the user to understand that. And people from these towns have two things which is very good.
Family members,
they have
friends.
family members, friends, they can always reach out. Second, they know the local language. That is also super
Language
important.
is important, yeah.
Yeah, to
And they should be
interact
able
with
to
them.
travel there and spend time.
Yeah, I mean, they go back to their home and come up with 20 more insights to build.
Right,
I mean, that's what we need with our product team. Also, I mean, so I would say that resume or where you have worked doesn't matter to us a lot now. Like what matters is you belong to these towns and you understand these people.
Do
That's
they
what
also
we ask
care
for.
for this user, right? Which
We
is
also care for these people, and that's what we ask from them.
So skill is also like very important, like whether they're able to build a consumer product, because it's not like B2B product mein you go and talk to a business, they will tell you the problem statement, right? Here it's a lot about taking decision on the basis
consumer,
of data.
you have to watch them and decide. They can't verbalize, right? You just watch them and see what they're doing.
Right. Yeah. For this, we have done two things in our company, which is to build this culture. One thing is we have a user research team, right? And
Separate user research team.
User research team.
Different from product management.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we want to constantly keep doing that, but it doesn't. The user research team is not built to do it in isolation.
Okay.
User research team is there to guide everyone else to do that. Basically, a product manager is trying to build a new feature. It will not happen without user research. So, I mean, they need help in, okay, how should I question? How should I make the non-leading questions so that people give me these insights? So that's where research team helps them. The second thing we have done is we have local language classes constantly happening in our.
Jani was telling me before this that everybody is learning Kannada right now. So that they have one common local language to exchange ideas.
Basically, field studies are very insightful because you get to see the user, understand circumstances. Phone call say we have field studies to be effective, but field studies planning, traveling is decision delay. So
otherwise everybody will be building PPTs in English, and that will not really.
So what we did is that anyways everyone knows one common language, one language of our users. So we try to have one language which everyone can understand, and also it is easy for them to do user study. They can just travel.
So everybody knows Kannada. And they can start traveling.
Yeah.
In and around
Bangalore. To do field study.
Yeah. What we realize fundamentally is that in this community platforms, trust is an important thing.
Yeah.
आप over time आप वो trust नहीं करेंगे तो आप वहाँ पे plateau हो जाता है supply भी. तो what we have done is that कि moderation is very important. We have built tools for that. We have also trying to understand what will make the life of the user more easier, and for that you need to talk to the user, and that is important. And we try to understand from other content platforms also, and we have not seen startups that do users research as much as we do, because we are trying to solve for their real life use cases. मतलब मेरे को कंटेंट पढ़ा, मेरे को मजा नहीं आया तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बट मैं कोई नौकरी ढूंढने जा रहा हूँ, मेरे को मिला लोकल पे, एक्सपीरियंस खराब है तो खराब हो जाता है, राइट? Similarly, मैं किसी से शादी करना चाहता हूँ, it has to be a genuine person to talk.
I know, agreed. So you're already doing like more than a few $1 million annual revenue, right? And you're one of the few social media startups which are monetized very well at a unit level, at a community level. You're doing already like breaking even and all of that. Do you think this social media allied area, is this still like a fundable space? Have you noticed any gaps besides local, what you plan to do in your user research? Okay, this is a space which can be funded.
So I think we see a lot of problems that are yet to be solved.
Okay.
But social media is such a tricky domain that I tell you the idea of Facebook to you, before Facebook existed, you would call me stupid, or Snapchat, you would call me. It's very, very difficult to predict.
Give us some stupid ideas. That's fine. I mean, the audience includes a lot of stupid people, and who will be stupid enough to take it up.
From in the sense of business, we see there is a lot of gap in education and awareness about financial products. We see communities where transaction is also enabled for this financial thing. Can be a thing where so basically टुडे ऑल्सो वी सी
चिट फंड्स एंड ऑल,
चिट फंड से होता है, इनके अराउंड अगर बन जाती है और 3-4 लोग वेरीफाई करते हैं कि ये बंदा आपको पैसा दे पाएगा, वो एक सस्टेनेबल तरीके से बन सकता है, इज व्हाट वी हैव सीन आल्सो इन दिस लोकेशन। बिकॉज चिट फंड भी यही होता है कि सब ट्रस्ट करते हैं कि चिट को ही उठाएगा और वापस देगा पैसा, और लोग एक जगह पे रहते हैं, राइट। उसका थोड़ा और evolved version where people from distant locations can happen, and it's a large market for that.
Got it. What else?
What else?
In terms
हम
of
बना देंगे ना आनंद।
in terms of non-tech products, right? What do you think will help? I mean, like, you know, are they buying more air conditioners, more refrigerators, more bikes, more cars?
Basically, I think one thing that I observed in one of our recent US studies is that we have seen Zudio, right? Zudio, आपने
Fashion.
देखा होगा, fashion.
Yeah.
That
Tatas.
will work like crazy
Will
in
work crazy in
Tier 2,
small town, right?
because
Already working very well.
we have seen in Tier 2
Before
the local,
Madhukar told me about that, I stock has already run up here. अभी तो कुछ बचा नहीं उसमें, जूस नहीं बचा।
वो मतलब Tier 2 में हमने लोकल बिजनेस से बात की, जो क्लोथिंग स्टोर ओनर होता है वो कलकत्ता जाता है, थोक में लाता है, 80 रुपये 50 रुपये में शर्ट पैंट वो लाता है, और यहाँ पे जो कॉलेज के बच्चे होते हैं जो
300-400 रुपये में
300-400 रुपये में खरीदते हैं, क्वालिटी खराब, मैं खरीद के देखा, 2 वॉश के बाद वो पहनने में नहीं होता,
but they are okay with it.
वहाँ चल रहा है क्योंकि उनको लगता है यार सस्ते मिल रहा है, मैं ब्रांड पे जाऊंगा तो 1000 टाइप का आएगा, एंड मैं कॉलेज का बच्चा हूँ, यंग बंदा हूँ, मेरे को नए नए चीज़ें ट्राई करनी है ना। Whereas Zudio is able to deliver similar, मतलब much better quality in that price.
Yeah, that price.
So
yes,
that
that's
is
true.
killer. I went वरंगल में देखा मैं, मतलब I was like crazy. यहाँ कोरमंगला में क्राउड मुझे लगती ज़्यादा है Zudio में, वरंगल में तो पागल हो जाओ एकदम।
Wow. Guys, so we are now at the last round, rapid fire.
Sir, hamper
1-1.
Hamper, बस वो खाली hamper के बिना ही we'll do a rapid fire. What is the smallest district, exotic district you have readers in? Which is your most like
Puducherry.
exotic locality, exotic community location?
Puducherry, like
Puducherry.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, phenomenal.
I mean, and
What's your favorite?
Smallest location Yadadri. Yadadri is a 700,000 population district. It's a temple district.
Temple district.
Everything in that district
Andhra.
happens around
Andhra,
Telangana. Happens around what is happening in that temple. It's a large
Tirupati temple.
No, it's Yadadri. Yadagiri Gutta.
temple.
Yadagiri Gutta.
Okay, phenomenal. Very interesting. Most popular piece of news which made you like went viral in some place and you know lot of attention.
yeah, weather. I mean,
Weather?
No, it's weather. Say, like you have on the west coast, on the east coast you have cyclones, and that time it's just blew out of proportion. And
Politics is viral because we were able to give crowdsource information about your local leader के कितने वोट आ रहे हैं, counting every 3 hours, and no national television or state level television is broadcasting that crazy
You
shit.
guys must love elections, right?
Yeah, results, yeah.
Engagement, results,
engagement,
results,
yeah.
Phenomenal.
Exclusive content we really love. That is valuable.
So that's where you have an edge of a lot of stringers and real time coverage. Phenomenal. Okay. What do you guys read regularly?
I read Enado, Economic Times, and sometimes TechCrunch.
DB.
DB. Okay.
Dainik Bhaskar.
Rajasthan. Nice. That's a good thing, right? I mean, we all continue our old newspaper habits. It's a very sticky habit.
Yes.
Your favorite Indian startup and favorite Indian founder?
Flipkart, Binny Mansell and Sachin Mansell.
Both?
Yeah, but I really love, I mean, that book also, one of my favorite books. Basically, I think the only book about Indian company building. I mean, that's...
Anand, you have a fair shot at writing such books in future.
I
see you there.
I am already doing enough damage to myself on Twitter, so I'm not going beyond Twitter, right? Most challenging moment for you guys, like, you know, really last 15 दिन का पैसा बचा है या बहुत बार हुआ क्या?
एक बार ही हुआ है हमारा सीरीज,
ऐसे जानी,
बट एक बार मेजर था। सीरीज ऐसे पहले हमारे पास 2 महीने का पैसा था। 2 महीने के पैसे भी ऐसे थे कि इन्वेस्टर से पूछा कि यार दे दो, हो जाएगा तो थोड़ा थोड़ा दे दो, तो वो लोग दे दिए। श्योरिटी नहीं थी कि कुछ होगा, बट टू एन एक्सटेंट हम ऐसा होता था कि मैं और विपुल शाम को रोड्स पे ऐसे चले आते थे कि पता नहीं क्या होगा, देखते। बट या
हमने उस समय ये भी ट्राई किया कि आज तक कभी मंदिर नहीं गए, अभी जाके सब जगह चर्च जाके आएंगे, मंदिर जाके आएंगे,
क्या बात है,
सब ट्राई किया। इट वाज sad moment thoda.
Final question: which role would you never give to somebody else? You'll always do it yourself in the company. Like, ये role मेरा है, मेरे को करना है. आपके लिए.
Basically, product leadership. I would not want to leave ever,
Right.
which is I mean, it's
How about
story
you?
short.
I think two places, मतलब product and sales.
सही है. Good. Awesome. Thank you guys. Such a pleasure.